My beloved child, stop, now, before your soul forgets how to exhale. I know you were only going to listen for a moment, only going to keep moving, only going to push through one more task, one more responsibility, one more expectation. But I am interrupting you with tenderness, because you have been living as though rest is a luxury and not a covenant, as though breathing is something you earn after you prove you have done enough. My child, come closer. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your spirit stop apologizing for being human. I see what you have been carrying beneath that smile you have perfected. I see the pressure to be composed when you are trembling inside. The pressure to be helpful when your own heart is quietly fraying. The pressure to be spiritual, to have the right words, to be the one who prays, the one who encourages, the one who never breaks, the one who always shows up with oil in her lamp, even when her own wick is smoking. You have tried to be unbreakable, not because you are proud, but because you were afraid that if you stopped, everything would fall apart and you would be blamed for it. My child, I do not blame you. I see how you learned to survive by staying strong, and I am not speaking to condemn you, but to draw you out of that lonely strength and into my arms. It is no accident that your heart has been stirred. It is no accident that these words found you in the middle of your busy, in the middle of your noise, in the middle of your endless lists. You thought you were just tired. You thought you were just overwhelmed. You thought you were just having a moment, but I have allowed this pause because heaven is calling you back to yourself and back to me. This is not random content. This is a sacred interruption. This is me placing my hand on your racing thoughts and saying, enough, my daughter, come and be held. Listen to me, my beloved child. I never asked you to become strong without me. I never demanded that you carry your life on your own back and call it faith. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and meaning does not come from performing until you collapse. I asked you to surrender where you are weak, because my power is not perfected in your polished image. It is perfected in your honest dependence. You have been trying to outrun your limits as if they are shameful, but your limits are not your enemy. They are the doorway that leads you back into trust. So stop, my child. Not forever, just long enough to remember that you are loved before you are useful, long enough to remember that you are mine before you are needed, long enough to let me speak to the place in you that has been whispering, I can't keep doing this, and has been terrified that whisper makes you a failure. This exhaustion is not failure. It is an invitation to lay your head down for a moment and let me be God for you. Let me carry what you have been gripping in white-knuckled prayer. Let me meet you, not at the finish line of your strength, but right here, at the edge of your breath, where surrender begins. My child, I am going to tell you the truth gently, because I love you too much to let you keep bleeding in silence. You have been calling it faith, but much of what has been driving you is performance polished, practiced, and praised by people, while your heart grows tired in places no one sees. You have learned how to say the right words, how to show up with the right posture, how to keep your eyes lifted even when your soul feels like it is sinking. And the world has called that strength, but I call it heavy, because you have been holding it together without letting me hold you. Do not misunderstand me, my beloved child. I am not condemning your discipline. I am not rejecting your devotion. I am not offended by your desire to honor me, but I am exposing what is stealing your breath. There is a difference between obedience that flows from trust and striving that flows from fear. There is a difference between a daughter who serves because she is loved and a daughter who serves because she is terrified of what will happen if she stops. And when faith becomes something you perform, your soul pays the price in silence because you stop telling the truth where it matters most, in my presence. I see the hidden vows you made when you were hurting, when you were young in the fight, when you realized people leaned on you and rarely caught you. You whispered them like promises, thinking they would keep you safe. I must not burden anyone. I must be the strong one. I must not fall apart. And you did not know those vows would become bars. You did not know that what began as survival would turn into a cage. So you learned to smile through the ache. You learned to pray while panicking. You learned to worship while numb. You learned to keep moving so no one would notice the trembling in your spirit. And all the while, you wondered why you felt so alone, because performance looks like connection on the outside, but it isolates you on the inside. My child, I do not blame you. I do not blame you for learning to be impressive when you needed to be held. I do not blame you for confusing outward strength with inward trust, because you were trained by a world that rewards what is visible and ignores what is real. But I am rescuing you now. I am confronting the self-reliance that has been masquerading as maturity, not to shame you, but to free you. I am calling you out of the quiet pressure to prove you are okay, and into the safety of being honest with me. Come closer, my beloved child. Let your faith stop performing and start resting. Let your devotion become a doorway again, not a stage. You do not have to earn my nearness with polished spirituality. You do not have to hold your breath to be called faithful. The truest faith is not the version of you that never breaks. It is the version of you that brings me the breaking and says, Father, I cannot do this without you. And I have been waiting not with disappointment but with open arms, to teach your heart the sound of grace again. My beloved child, I see the place where you have been bruised by what was meant to bless you. I see how you have opened my word and felt measured instead of met, evaluated instead of embraced. And for many of you, Proverbs 31 became that measuring stick held over your head, like a sentence you must serve, a list you must complete, a standard you must reach, to finally be considered a good woman, a godly woman. Enough. You have read her rising early, her hands working willingly, her household flourishing, her lamp not going out at night, and something in you tightened because you heard it as pressure, not as promise. But hear me, my child. I never gave you that passage to imprison you. I gave it to reveal what becomes possible when a daughter lives in partnership with me. That woman's strength was never self-generated. It was never the product of anxiety or the fear of disappointing people or the desperation to prove her worth. As it is written, she fears the Lord, and that fear is not terror, but intimacy, reverence, alignment. She is not fueled by the eyes of the crowd. She is anchored by my gaze. She does not build her life from frantic approval. She builds it from quiet trust. And what you have been calling biblical womanhood is not perfection. It is presence. It is a heart that stays near me long enough to be formed by me, and hands that move with wisdom, because the soul is not starving for validation. My child, I am also exposing comparison, because it has been a thief in your mind. You were never called to mimic another woman's capacity, another woman's pace, another woman's season, another woman's support, another woman's assignment. You have looked at what I placed in her hands and assumed I required the same from you in the same way, as though I am a God who mass produces daughters. But I am not. I am the one who knits, who names, who appoints, who leads. The fruit I bring forth in you will have my signature on it, and it will come in season, not in panic. Do not despise your season because it does not look like someone else's highlight. Do not call yourself disqualified because your field is different. Your strength feels small. Your capacity is limited. I am not asking you to compete. I am asking you to abide. And listen closely, my beloved child. I am not condemning excellence. I am not rebuking diligence. I am not calling you into carelessness. But I am confronting the lie beneath perfectionism, the belief that love must be earned through being enough, that acceptance is the reward for never needing help, that I am pleased only when you are impressive. That is not my heart. I do not love the polished version of you more than the weary one. I do not draw near only when you have everything in order. I am calling you out of the exhausting religion of being flawless and into the freedom of being mine. So breathe again, my child. Let Proverbs 31 stop sounding like a whip and start sounding like a witness. It is a picture, not a prison. It is fruit, not forced labor. It is what grows where I am feared more than people are feared, where my voice matters more than their opinions, where grace is not treated as a trophy for strong daughters, but as the lifeline for surrendered daughters. And as you return to me, you will learn this. The woman you are becoming will not be built by pressure. She will be formed by presence, and she will bear fruit in season, because I am with you. My beloved child, now that you can breathe again, I need you to hear me clearly where the enemy has been accusing you. You have been calling yourself lazy because you cannot keep up. You have been calling yourself undisciplined because your body is asking for mercy. You have been calling yourself not enough because your capacity is reaching its edge. But I tell you the truth, you are not lazy. You are overextended beyond what I assigned. You are weary, not because you are weak, but because you have been faithful to burdens I never placed in your hands. How many tasks have you accepted? Not because I entrusted them to you, but because you feared being misunderstood. How many yeses did you offer because you feared being called selfish? How many roles did you step into because you believed love would leave if you did not remain useful? My child, I see the way you scan the room for what is missing and rush to become the answer. I see the way you take responsibility for emotions that are not yours to manage, outcomes that are not yours to control, timelines that are not yours to force. And then you wonder why prayer feels rushed, why worship feels distant, why your Bible feels heavy in your hands. It is because you have been carrying what was never yours, and your soul has been sounding an alarm. Do not despise that exhaustion, my beloved child. It is not merely a limitation, it is a signal. It is your spirit whispering, "This is too much," not to shame you, but to guide you back into alignment. I did not design you to be the savior of your family, the solution to everyone's crisis, the glue that holds every relationship together. That position is not yours. That weight belongs to me. And when you attempt to hold what only I can hold, even noble things become idols, because they demand the strength and attention that belongs to your intimacy with me. So come, surrender, not as a collapse, but as a return. Release the roles you adopted to feel safe. Release the expectations you inherited from anxious voices. Release the timelines you agreed to because waiting felt like failure. My child, I am not taking purpose from you. I am taking pressure off of you. I am not stripping you. I am freeing you. I am teaching you the holy courage of a daughter who can say, "Father did not ask this of me," and lay it down without apology. And let this become a gentle law of love in your life. If it costs your intimacy with me, it is too expensive, no matter how noble it looks. If it requires you to abandon your secret place, it is not a promotion. It is a trade you cannot afford. If it makes you hurry past my voice, ignore my nudges, and silence your need for rest, then it is not fruit, it is strain. My beloved child, you will not be measured by how much you carried. You will be strengthened by what you release to me. Lay it down, and let me reorder your life with grace, because much of your tiredness has come from carrying burdens I never placed in your hands. My beloved child, now let me shift the lens, because if you only name this as stress, you will keep treating it as normal, and you will keep bleeding quietly while the enemy smiles at your silence. My child, some things are not random, but refined attacks meant to cover up my voice. Not every heavy day is simply a busy schedule. Not every foggy moment is simply a personality flaw. Not every sudden wave of emotion is just too much. There are times you are not merely tired, you are being opposed. Listen to me with tenderness and with clarity. The enemy does not need to destroy you publicly if he can drain you privately. He does not need to make you abandon me if he can make you too busy to hear me. He will keep you running, not because your work is evil, but because your pace is. He will whisper guilt into your yes, so that you confuse love with obligation. He will keep you numb, so that you mistake survival for maturity. And slowly, so slowly, you almost do not notice. Exhaustion begins to feel like your identity. This is just who I am. I'm always behind. I'm always failing. I'm always too much. My child, that is not truth. That is warfare. And I need you to stop shaming yourself for the symptoms of a battle you did not even realize you were in. The fog you feel when you try to pray. The irritability that rises in you when you are touched one more time, asked one more thing, expected to be cheerful when your soul is begging for quiet. The emotional flatness where you are doing all the right things, but you feel nothing. The sudden tears that come without warning, in the car, in the shower, in the middle of folding clothes, as though your heart is leaking. My beloved child, these are not proofs that your worth is broken. They are often signs that your attention has been contended for, that your inner world has been under pressure, that you have been pushed and pulled until you cannot tell what is you and what is coming against you. As it is written, our battle is not against flesh and blood, so do not misplace your fight, my child. Do not turn your warfare into resentment toward people. Do not turn your fatigue into hatred toward yourself. There is an unseen realm that would love to keep you reacting all day long, because a daughter who is always reacting cannot be still enough to discern. And when you cannot discern, you begin to make decisions from panic, and you begin to call it wisdom because you are just trying to cope. But I am awakening you gently. Your weariness is not proof you are failing. It may be proof you are in a battle for your attention. And I am not telling you this to frighten you, but to free you. Because when you recognize the strategy, you stop partnering with it. You stop calling oppression normal life. You stop assuming that the heaviness is your personality. You lift your head and you remember who you are, my daughter, covered, kept, and led. And you will learn again how to guard your quiet, how to protect your yes, how to return to me when the noise rises so my voice is no longer crowded out and your soul can finally breathe in peace. My beloved child, now that you can see the battle more clearly, I will not leave you staring at the enemy as though you must outmuscle what is unseen. I am drawing you into the center of the answer, and the answer is not more effort, it is my grace. Hear me, because you have been trained by pain to believe grace is the ribbon I place on the strongest daughters, the prize given after you have proven you can hold it all together. But my grace is not a reward for strong daughters. It is strength for surrendered daughters. It is not the payment for your performance. It is the provision for your dependence. As it is written, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. My child, that is not a poetic phrase. That is a turning point. You have been trying to eliminate weakness as though it is a stain, as though it disqualifies you, as though you must hide it from me to remain loved. But weakness is not disqualification. Weakness is the doorway where my power becomes visible, where your life stops being a testimony to your endurance and becomes a testimony to my nearness. I have never been intimidated by what you cannot carry. I am not waiting for you to become impressive enough for me to move. I move where you yield. So listen to the rhythm of truth, not your collapse, but your confession, not your perfection, but your dependence, not the version of you that has everything managed, but the real version of you that finally says, Father, I am at the end of myself, and I need you. That moment you have been resisting, the moment your voice shakes, the moment tears rise, the moment you admit what you have been masking, that is not the moment I step back from you. That is the moment I step closer, because you have opened the door that pride and fear kept locked. My beloved child, I can heal what you reveal. I can strengthen what you surrender. But performance keeps wounds protected from healing, because you keep wrapping them in smiles and spiritual language, and I'm fine, and it's okay. While the ache deepens in the dark, you have been trying to be the strongest version of yourself for everyone, and then you come to me, still wearing that armor, still speaking in rehearsed phrases, still hiding the trembling places. But I am not asking for polished prayers. I am asking for honest ones. Bring me the truth, not the script. Bring me the tired, not the edited. Grace is meeting you here, my child, right where you are honest, right where you are human, right where you are not enough. And you will discover this sacred mystery. When you stop striving to look strong, you become held by the one who is strong. When you stop performing, you start receiving. And my power that you have begged for while trying to earn it, will rest on you, not as a reward for your strength, but as a response to your surrender. My beloved child, now come closer still, because grace is not only something you believe, it is somewhere you live. And the place I am calling you back to is not a stage, not a checklist, not a frantic proving ground. It is my feet. It is the quiet place where your soul stops negotiating its worth and starts receiving my heart. Remember what happened in the home where I was welcomed, where two sisters loved me, where the room was full of good intentions. Martha was serving, and service was not the sin. Feeding, preparing, caring, hosting, these were not evil things. But anxiety slipped into her serving like a hidden fire. She began to carry the atmosphere as though it depended on her. She began to scan for what was missing, what was next, what might disappoint. And Mary sat. She listened. She chose presence over pressure. And Martha's heart, heavy with many things, finally spilled out in complaint, because striving always demands an audience, and performance always looks for someone to blame when it cannot breathe. My child, I am not rebuking your heart to help. I am not dismissing the responsibilities in your hands. But I am putting my finger on what has been draining you. You have been serving me while being driven by fear. You have been doing good things with a troubled mind, and you have called it maturity because it looked productive. Yet I say to you with the same tenderness I spoke then, you have been worried and troubled about many things. I see the mental load you carry like a basket that never empties. I see you lying down, still calculating tomorrow. I see you waking up already behind. I see you listening to people while your mind runs ahead, rehearsing, fixing, managing, bracing. My beloved child, that constant scanning is not your personality. It is the fruit of anxiety trying to lead your life. And I am calling you back to the one thing. Not the one thing that makes you impressive, but the one thing that makes you whole. Presence, listening, letting me define what is necessary in this season. Letting my voice tell you what matters today and what can wait without guilt. Because you were never meant to serve from anxiety. You were meant to serve from intimacy. You were never meant to pour until you are empty. You were meant to abide until you are filled. So here is the practice of a daughter who is coming home. Sit first, before you prove, before you produce, before you answer every message, rescue every moment, carry every emotion. Sit first. Give me the first breath of your day, the first honest sentence, the first tear if it rises, the first surrender if your chest feels tight. Whisper, Father, what is the one thing today? And do not rush past the answer. Let my peace be your instruction. Let my presence be your portion. You can serve again, yes, but you will serve from rest, not from panic, from union, not from urgency, from love, not from the fear of falling short. Come, sit at my feet again, my child. You are Mary before you are Martha, and I will teach you how to live like it. My beloved child, now that you have come near, do not flinch when the tears rise. Do not apologize for the trembling in your voice. Do not rush to wipe your face as though I have been offended by what is true. I am not disappointed in your tears. I am drawing you out of hiding. For so long you have believed the lie beneath the lie. If I am not strong, I will be rejected. And because you feared rejection, you learned to be impressive. You learned to be useful. You learned to be the one who says, I'm fine, even when your soul is not fine. But hear me, my child, you do not have to audition for my love. You do not have to perform your stability to be welcomed. You are not safe with me because you are strong. You are safe with me because you are mine. I stir your heart not to condemn you, but to draw you. There is a difference between my conviction and the enemy's accusation. Conviction is gentle light. It names what is misaligned so you can come home. Accusation is a heavy voice. It names you as hopeless, so you will stay hidden. When you feel that crushing whisper that says, you should be over this by now, you should be better by now, you are too much, that is not me. I do not speak to you with contempt. I speak to you with clarity and kindness, because I am not trying to expose you to shame. I am trying to uncover you for healing. And yes, my beloved child, I see the griefs you have tucked away in the back rooms of your heart. I see the unseen labor, what you did that no one noticed, what you carried that no one thanked you for, the ways you kept showing up while you were quietly empty. I see the private disappointments you swallowed so you would not burden anyone. I see the delayed promises that made you wonder if you heard me wrong. I see the relational weight, the conversations you keep replaying, the needs you keep managing, the peace you keep trying to maintain as though it all depends on you. I see how many times you have chosen the harder road in secret and then smiled in public so no one would ask what it cost you. My child, your vulnerability is not a burden to me. It is the place I meet you most personally. Your tears are not a setback, they are a doorway out of shame and into healing. Do not call them weakness as though they are an enemy. Let them be what they are, truth, coming to the surface where I can touch it. Let them be a holy release, the moment you stop hiding and start being held. Come closer, beloved daughter. There is no rejection here, only welcome. There is no disgust here, only tenderness. Stay with me while you weep, and you will learn a new safety. You can be honest and still be loved. You can be undone and still be mine. And I will not turn away from the parts of you that are finally coming into the light. My beloved child, before we go deeper, do not let this moment pass like another word you simply heard. I am not speaking to entertain you, I am speaking to rescue you. And agreement is an act of surrender. Your response is not for me to feel validated, but for your soul to stop wavering at the doorway and finally step into what I am offering you. The enemy would love for you to nod quietly, wipe your tears, and return to the same pressure as though nothing has changed. But I am calling you to mark this as a turning point. So, if this word is reaching the places you have hidden, if it is naming the exhaustion you have carried in silence, then like this message as an act of agreement. Let it be your small, holy yes, your public recognition that you were never meant to be a strong woman without me, that tired daughters deserve rest in my presence. Not another standard to meet, not another performance to maintain. And subscribe, my child, not out of habit, but out of hunger, so you stay anchored in words that lead you back to surrender and intimacy, not striving. You have spent enough time being discipled by pressure. Let your ears learn the rhythm of grace again. And share this with a sister, a mother, a wife, a friend, the one who carries everyone but never feels carried, the one who always says, "I'm fine," while her soul is fading. Send it to her as a quiet permission slip from heaven. You can be held. Then, my beloved child, step out of hiding with your words. Comment, "I surrender my strength to God," or comment, "I am held, not pressured." Let your declaration be simple, but let it be real, because where you stop performing is where my power can finally rest on you. My beloved child, now that you have spoken your yes, I am inviting you into what that yes truly means. Because surrender is not only a moment, it is an unlearning. And the first thing I am asking you to unlearn is the armor you wore in your survival season. You did not put it on because you were evil. You put it on because you were trying to make it through. But what once helped you endure will now keep you from being healed, because the armor that helped you survive will block the intimacy that will heal you. I see the armor the world forced upon you, and I see how normal it has become. Hyper-independence that says, "I will handle it. I will not need anyone." People-pleasing that scans faces before it listens to my voice. Control that tightens your chest when you cannot predict the outcome. Constant productivity that keeps your hands busy, so your heart does not have to feel. My child, you learn to stay ahead of disappointment by over-planning. You learn to stay ahead of rejection by over-giving. You learn to stay ahead of shame by chasing perfection. You learn to stay ahead of pain by staying busy, and you called it responsibility. But I call it protection you no longer need if you will let me be your safety. And hear me gently, because this is where many daughters misinterpret me. There are moments I feel silent, not because I have left you, but because I am drawing you out of the noise you use to avoid dependence. At times, I hide myself, not to abandon you, but so that you may recognize your own limitations and seek again my power. You have been trying to find me with the same tools you use to manage life: more effort, more control, more doing, more proving. But I am not found through striving. I am found through surrender. When your plans fail to calm you, when your productivity no longer numbs you, when your perfection no longer makes you feel secure, it is not always punishment. Often, it is mercy, because I am removing the false comforts that have been replacing my presence. So I ask you, my beloved child, without accusation and without shame, what do you reach for when you want to feel safe? Is it another list? Another late night of fixing what is not yours to fix? Is it another yes you did not have grace for? Is it the need to be needed, the need to be applauded, the need to be in control, the need to keep moving so you never have to sit still with me? Bring it into the light with me, not so I can scold you, but so I can heal you. I can only untie what you are willing to name. And listen, this tenderness you feel returning, this sensitivity that makes you cry, this softness that makes you feel exposed, this is not you becoming weak. This is your heart coming back to life. The numbness was not strength. The hardness was not maturity. The constant push was not holiness. My child, I am restoring your tenderness, because tenderness is how you recognize my touch. It is how you discern my voice. It is how love enters where fear used to live. Do not rebuild the armor just because the air feels unfamiliar without it. Stay here with me. Let your shoulders drop. Let your grip loosen. Let your soul learn a new reflex. When you feel afraid, you will not perform. You will abide. When you feel pressure, you will not strive. You will surrender. And I will be your safety, not for the strong daughter you tried to become, but for the real daughter you are in, my arms. My beloved child, now that your grip is loosening, I must teach you how to keep it from tightening again tomorrow. Because many daughters come near me, weep, breathe, and feel relief, then walk back into the same patterns, not because they are stubborn, but because their yes has been trained by guilt more than it has been led by my spirit. So, let me reorder your yes, and you will not be driven by guilt anymore. Come with me into a holy audit, not an anxious inspection. not a self-accusing review, but a gentle unveiling in my light. I want you to look at what you have been agreeing to, what you have been carrying, fixing, proving, maintaining, and ask yourself, with me beside you, did I assign this, or did fear assign it? Did I ask for this, or did guilt pressure you into it? Did I invite you into this, or did image convince you that you must keep up, stay impressive, stay needed, stay unquestioned? My child, I see how quickly your mouth says yes, when your heart is afraid of being misunderstood. I see how often you volunteer your strength to avoid someone else's disappointment. But I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and meaning is not found in a crowded schedule. It is found in obedience that is anchored in love. Do not choose by fleeting emotions, my beloved child. Do not let urgency impersonate instruction. Do not let pity impersonate assignment. Do not let fear of conflict impersonate peace. I am teaching you discernment again, the kind that does not rush, the kind that listens. The Holy Spirit does not drive you like a taskmaster, He leads you like a shepherd. And when you are led, you do not have to prove you are good, you simply have to follow. So when the request comes, when the need arises, when the message pings, when the expectation is placed in your lap, pause with me and whisper this simple script. Father, is this mine to carry? Is this mine to fix? Is this mine to prove? And if the answer is no, do not argue with me. Do not negotiate with pressure. Let your no be worship. Let it be a holy boundary that says, I trust God to be God, and I refuse to replace Him. My child, peace returns when your yes is aligned. Purpose is protected when your strength is not scattered. And you will be amazed how light your soul becomes when you stop picking up what I never handed you. You will still love, you will still serve, you will still be fruitful, but you will no longer be driven, you will be led. And in that leadership, I will restore your joy, because your life will no longer be measured by what you managed, but by how closely you walked with me. My beloved child, now listen closely, because there are moments when heaven opens a door and it is not meant to be admired from a distance. There are doors of grace that stand open only for a brief sacred span, not to make you panic, but to awaken you, not to frighten you, but to keep you from drifting back into what has been killing your joy in slow motion. It is no accident that your heart has been stirred. It is no accident that you are suddenly hearing me with clarity. It is no accident that you feel both relief and fear at the thought of changing. This is a sacred window, and I need you to understand what this door is, so you do not mistake it for another assignment to perform. This door is not more proving. It is not a stronger schedule. It is not you promising me you will do better in your own strength. This door is surrender. This door is rest. This door is honesty without polishing. This door is returning to first love when you prayed because you wanted me, not because you needed to keep up. When you worshiped because you were held, not because you were trying to hold everything together. Walk through this door before burnout becomes your identity, before weariness becomes your normal, before you start calling constant exhaustion just life, and you forget that I created you for peace. My child, the enemy will rush you. He will whisper, hurry, fix it now, prove it now, answer now, carry now. He will dress haste in spiritual language so it sounds like obedience, but it is only anxiety in a robe. He will try to make you believe that slowing down is selfish, that resting is lazy, that surrender is irresponsible, but I am not in the rush. I steady you, I lead you beside still waters. I restore your soul. Haste is not the same as faith. Noise is not the same as direction. Pressure is not the same as my voice. So walk through this door slowly, my beloved child, slowly enough to feel your shoulders drop, slowly enough to notice where your heart tries to sprint ahead, slowly enough to hear me when I say, you can release that, and you can wait, and you are safe, even if you disappoint someone. This is not the season to run faster. This is the season to return. The rhythm of grace is leading you into a new season. Not a season where you do less out of apathy, but a season where you do what I ask from abiding, not from striving. And if you will choose this now, this sacred yes to surrender, your life will not be ruled by exhaustion. It will be guarded by my peace and built again on intimacy, where my power is perfected in your weakness and your soul remembers how to exhale. My beloved child, you have stepped through the door. and now I will not leave you standing there wondering if you will have enough to live differently. I am not calling you into a new rhythm and then asking you to fund it with your own strength. Hear me, you were never meant to carry your life alone. You were never meant to hold your home, your calling, your emotions, your future, and everyone's expectations in the small hands of a tired daughter. That was not my design. That was survival. That was pressure. That was fear, pretending to be responsibility. But you are not an orphan. You are not unsupported. You are not abandoned to figure it out. And I want to speak over you what the noise has tried to erase. You are not too much. You are not enough. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are my beloved child. You are mine when you are productive, and you are mine when you are resting. You are mine when you are steady, and you are mine when you are trembling. You are mine on the days you feel full of faith, and you are mine on the days you can barely whisper my name. The enemy has called you late, lazy, weak, complicated, and burdensome, so you would keep striving to outrun those labels. But I call you daughter, I call you chosen, I call you held, I call you safe. So let me redefine strength for you, because what you have called strength has often been tight fists and clenched jaws, carrying more and more, so no one sees you need help. But my strength is not tight fists. It is open hands. It is not independence that refuses to lean. It is dependence that knows where help lives. It is not proving. It is abiding. It is not you adding me to your schedule as a final ingredient. It is you surrendering the whole recipe and letting me lead. My strength is not added to your striving. It replaces it when you surrender. And as you receive this, I am establishing new patterns in you. Peace will live in your home not because everything is perfect, but because my presence will be honored above your pressure. Rest will return to your mind not because life has no demands, but because you will stop rehearsing tomorrow as though you are the savior. Softness will return to your heart not as fragility, but as healing, the kind that can feel without collapsing, the kind that can love without losing itself. Stability will rise in your spirit not from control, but from trust, not from rushing, but from listening, not from managing outcomes, but from walking with me one step at a time. Now breathe, my beloved child. Slow your breath until your chest remembers it is safe. Place a hand on your heart if you can, and feel how near I am to what you have been carrying. You do not have to perform in this moment. You do not have to impress me with perfect words. Just prepare to agree with me. Prepare to surrender, not as a loss, but as your return, because I am about to lift what you could never lift alone, and I am about to give you strength that does not come from you striving harder, but from you being held. My beloved child, now do not hurry past this with another promise you try to keep by willpower. Come with me into prayer, because the next step is not you trying harder, it is you yielding deeper. And hear me, confession is not humiliation. Confession is the doorway to rest. It is not you groveling to earn my mercy. It is you opening your hands so you can finally receive what has been waiting for you all along. So pray with me, quietly, honestly, without polishing your words. Father, I confess I have been trying to be strong without you. I confess I have carried myself like an orphan when I am your daughter. I have leaned on my own understanding, and I have called it wisdom. I have stayed in control, and I have called it maturity. I have pushed through exhaustion, and I have called it faith. I confess the hidden perfectionism, the need to do it right, to do it all, to do it without needing anyone, because I feared what would happen if I looked weak. I confess the performance that has followed me even into holy places, where I have tried to sound okay, look okay, be okay, while my soul was quietly begging to be held. Wash me, Father, cleanse me from the guilt that drives me, from the pressure that tightens my chest, from the shame that says I must deserve rest before I am allowed to receive it. I release the need to appear fine. I release the fear of disappointing people. I release the vows I made in pain. I will handle everything. I will not need anyone. I will not fall apart, and I lay them at your feet. Forgive me for picking up burdens you never placed in my hands, for treating anxiety like a compass, for letting urgency impersonate your voice. Holy Spirit, come close again. Restore intimacy where striving has crowded it out. Teach me the one thing. Teach me to sit at your feet, without defending myself, without rehearsing, without performing. Give me my daily bread, today's strength, today's instruction, today's peace, so I stop borrowing trouble from tomorrow. Quiet the noise that has been covering your whisper. and tune my heart back to the rhythm of grace until I can hear you clearly and follow you simply. And Father, I thank you. I thank you that weakness is welcomed in your presence, not punished. I thank you that when I finally stop pretending, you do not step back, you step closer. I thank you that your grace is sufficient, that your power is made perfect in what I cannot carry, and that I do not have to be strong without you ever again. I receive your rest now as a daughter coming home. Amen. My beloved child, stay here with me a little longer, because I will not only comfort you, I will free you. There are weights you have called personality, and patterns you have called responsibility, but I am naming them for what they are, yokes. And perfection is a yoke, my spirit is freedom, so do not be afraid of this moment. I am not about to expose you, I am about to unburden you. I stir your heart not to condemn you, but to draw you into liberty that feels unfamiliar only because you have lived too long in pressure. Now pray with me, and let your words be agreement with heaven. Father, in the name of Jesus, I renounce every false identity I have worn to feel safe. I lay down the strong one. I lay down the fixer. I lay down the dependable one when it replaced being your daughter. Forgive me for believing I must earn love by being useful and for confusing approval with affection. I renounce the lie that says, if I disappoint them, I will be rejected, and I surrender the fear that has kept me performing even in secret. Father, break the yoke of perfection off my neck. Break the yoke of people-pleasing. Break the yoke of guilt that manipulates my yes. Break the cycle of burnout that keeps me running until I crash, then shaming myself for needing rest. Break the anxious loops in my mind that rehearse conversations, outcomes, and worst-case scenarios as though I am the one who must hold the world together. Silence, the voice of condemnation that speaks after I set a boundary, after I say no, after I choose rest, after I choose you. I reject counterfeit control, every habit of over-managing, over-explaining, over-functioning, because it has been a substitute for trust. I cancel every spiritual assignment of heaviness, urgency, and exhaustion that has tried to cover your voice, and I declare that my life belongs to you. And Father, I ask you now, guard my mind and heal my nervous system. Let peace stand at the door of my thoughts. Let my body relearn safety in your presence. When I lie down at night, quiet the inner noise. Let sleep become worship again, not another battlefield. Restore my breathing, release my jaw, my shoulders, my chest from the tension I have carried for years. Let the night watches no longer be filled with dread, but with your nearness. Give your angels charge over me, and let the rhythm of grace settle into my bones. Holy Spirit, lead me. I declare I will not be driven by guilt anymore. I will not be rushed by fear anymore. I will not be manipulated by disappointment anymore. I will be led by the Spirit, anchored in love, steady in peace, and free in obedience. I receive freedom now, not because I performed well, but because Jesus has carried what I could not, and I choose, again, to live as a daughter, held, guided, and kept. Amen. My beloved child, now that you have renounced the yokes and opened your hands, I will seal this moment with my word, because you are not leaving this place with a temporary feeling, you are leaving with a mantle of truth. I am not asking you to return to your life and try not to burn out. I am placing my declaration over you. My grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in weakness. Not in your flawless image, not in your polished voice, not in your ability to keep smiling while you bleed internally. In weakness, named, surrendered, and held, my power is perfected. And hear me clearly, my child, when you stop performing, that is where my power can finally rest. So I declare over you now, you will no longer measure your worth by your output. You will no longer call exhaustion obedience. You will no longer confuse being needed with being loved. I am giving you renewed capacity, but not the kind that feeds endless productivity. I am giving you sustainable grace, strength that does not come with a clenched jaw, but with an open heart. I am giving you joyful obedience, where you do what I ask without drowning in what I never assigned. You will have energy for what is holy, and you will have peace about what is not yours. Your yes will be clean, your no will be worship, and your pace will be protected. And I declare relational healing, my beloved child, because part of your survival was learning to carry alone. But you are not entering this new season as an isolated warrior. You are entering as a daughter in a family. I give you permission to ask for help without shame. I give you permission to be seen without performing. I give you permission to receive support without apologizing for your humanity. The lie that says, if I need someone, I am weak, is broken. The lie that says, if they see my limits, they will leave, is silenced. I will surround you with the right strength at the right time, and I will teach you the humility of being loved. Now listen, my child, because this is the shift. You are moving from survival to surrender, from performance to presence, from pressure to peace. The rhythm of grace is leading you into a new season, and you will recognize it by how safe your soul feels again. You will still be faithful, but you will not be frantic. You will still be fruitful, but you will not be frantic. You will still be diligent, but you will not be driven. And when weakness rises, when tears come, when you have to rest, when you cannot fix what you used to fix, I declare you will not panic. You will lift your eyes and say, this is where His power rests. Because where you stop performing is where my power can finally rest on you, and I will keep you there held, strengthened, and made new. My beloved child, do not treat tomorrow like it is separate from this moment. The enemy loves to let you feel free in a holy atmosphere, then meet you in the morning with the same old script: rush, guilt, pressure, proving as though nothing was spoken over you. But I am not only giving you a word, I am teaching you a walk. And your new season will be protected by small, faithful surrenders daily. Not dramatic vows you cannot sustain, but quiet obediences that keep your heart soft and your pace guarded. So when you wake, before you touch the noise, before you check who needs you, before you measure your worth by what you can accomplish, whisper to me, Father, I surrender. That is enough to begin. Not a perfect prayer, not a long performance, just a whispered return. And then choose one boundary as an act of worship. One pause before you answer, one space in your schedule you do not fill, one moment where you refuse to rescue what I did not assign. Let one no come out of your mouth without guilt clinging to it. Let it be clean. Let it be holy. Let it be proof that you trust me to hold what you used to hold. And my child, I want you to choose one place this week to lay down, not 10, not everything at once, one. Is it overfunctioning, where you do for others what they must learn to do with me? Is it people-pleasing, where you read every face but forget to listen for my voice? Is it control, where you tighten your grip because you fear what will happen if you rest? Is it comparison, where you punish yourself for not being someone else? Is it overcommitment, where your yes multiplies until your soul disappears? Bring me one area and say, this is where I will practice surrender, because when surrender becomes specific, freedom becomes sustainable. And do not return to isolation, my beloved child. Strength is not found in hiding. I am drawing you into the safety of the body, trusted believers, wise counsel, sisters who can pray when your words feel thin. Let someone know what I am doing in you. Let humility become your covering. You were never meant to heal alone, and you were never meant to be carried only by your own resolve. And if you stumble, do not conclude you are disqualified. Do not let one hard day resurrect an old identity. I am patient with you. I am teaching you a new rhythm. When you fall back into striving, return quickly, without punishment, without drama, just come back. A daughter does not earn her way back into the Father's arms. She remembers where home is. And I will walk with you tomorrow and the next day, until surrender feels more natural than survival, and grace becomes the pace you live by. My beloved child, before you go, I want to place a blessing over you, because I am not sending you back into life as a strong woman trying to hold herself together. I am sending you back as my daughter, held, led, and covered. You are my daughter before you are anyone's helper. You are my daughter before you are anyone's answer. You are my daughter before you are the dependable one, the responsible one, the strong one. And you do not have to be strong without me. Come to me as a daughter and receive my strength. I bless your mind with quiet. I bless your thoughts with clarity, that the anxious looping will lose its grip, and my peace will stand guard where fear used to pace. I bless your heart with softness, not the softness that breaks under pressure, but the softness that trusts, the tenderness that can feel again without panicking. I bless your body with rest, deep rest, holy rest, rest that reaches your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your breathing, your sleep. I bless your home, with my presence. That you will not strive to create peace by controlling everything, but you will host peace by honoring me. I bless your days with a protected pace, that you will recognize my voice above urgency, and you will have courage to obey even when obedience looks like slowing down. And now, my child, respond in agreement, so this word does not remain only a moment you felt, but a path you walk. If this is your yes, I want you to type in the comments, I surrender and I receive His strength. Let it be simple, let it be public. Let it be a stake in the ground that says, performance is not my covering anymore, His grace is. And if you are carrying something heavy, do not keep it hidden behind a smile. Leave your prayer request in the comments, what you have been holding, what you have been afraid to admit, what has been draining you, and let my people pray with you in agreement. You were never meant to heal alone, and you were never meant to fight tired. And, my beloved child, if you want to keep walking in this rhythm, subscribe for more God Says devotionals that pull you out of performance and back into presence. And share this with one woman you know, the one who never lets herself be weak, the one who always says she's fine, the one whose strength has become a silent prison so she can remember she is a daughter. 2. I am with you, I will keep you, and I will teach you day by day how to live by grace until rest feels like home again.